Thank you for subscribing to our channel of curiosities and alerts at the airports. It is estimated that before the pandemic, about 2 million people traveled every day around the world using airport. And of course, these people not only they use the airlines with good intentions, but also some travel for illegal contraband. Most of them are caught, thanks to the careful security guards who are on the lookout for every person who has a suspicious attitude in this top. I will show you some of the most incredible things they have passed through the airports. In Melbourne, Australia, a young woman placed 51 live tropical fish inside her luggage, and these were in various plastic bags filled with water. As you can imagine, the idea didn't go that far as she was caught by security. As a result, woman had to pay about $80,000 in fine. She probably had planned to send them abroad, since on the black market they can be found for more than $1,000 each because they are endemic to Australia. Something similar happened at Los Angeles International Airport, where a man was seen while traveling with a rectangular suitcase to which nothing seemed to happen. Strange, but it turned out to be full of water, and in which some 240 tropical fish were included. You may never imagine that someone is capable of carrying mortar balls ready to explode inside an airplane, but apparently it is something that can happen. It happened to a passenger at the airport in the United Kingdom, and he was discovered with several of these heavy objects inside his suitcase. Immediately afterwards, the entire luggage area was evacuated by security, and the person who owned the suitcase said that he wanted to keep them as a memory, since who found them during an excursion on an island, and they were still unused explosives. Experts believe that these mortar balls were taken from a ship that sank around the year 1700. The passenger was arrested and fined for endangering the safety of the plane. In 2016, airport security agents found a baseball bat surrounded by barbed wire, but the most striking fact was that it was full of blood. When detecting this in a passenger's suitcase, all the alarms went off, and the man was immediately arrested, so he was not allowed to get on the plane. After a couple of tests, it was discovered that the blood was fake, so the passenger was only accused of carrying a dangerous object. Baseball bats are classified as weapons in many airports around the world. Therefore, you must be very careful if you travel with one, since they can confiscate it, and you will not be able to have it back. The man is currently prohibited from returning to the airport. Apparently anything can be smuggled. This at least is what airport security agents thought in 2010 when they found a Thai woman acting strangely with a tiger cub in her clothes. When the suitcase passed through the X-ray device, it revealed that the woman was trying to carry it away. Smuggled abroad in the suitcase, there was also a toy and other items in the shape of this animal, perhaps in an attempt to pass it off as a stuffed animal to confuse the guards. However, it was obvious that it was a real tiger. The poor animal was sedated so that he did not wake up inside the suitcase. The woman was immediately arrested and sentenced to 3 years in prison for illegal smuggling, while the tiger was taken to a reserve to be cared for by professionals. So far, we have seen the attempt to smuggle different exotic animals and even objects, but it is impossible to understand how someone can put a baby in a suitcase and try to travel on a plane. An Egyptian family coming from the United Arab Emirates had a baby inside their luggage, and it was not discovered until it went through the X-ray machine. The baby was about 5 months old and was inside a small bag to pass the border control. The couple was prosecuted for endangering the health of a child and for the crime of smuggling. The baby was treated in the hospital since he was exposed to lightning, which is dangerous at his age. All those who witnessed it, they couldn't believe how someone would allow a baby to go through all that. In 2012, more than 200 live tarantulas were confiscated at a customs office in Amsterdam. It was a couple from Peru who had hidden this incredible amount inside several plastic boxes, together with many other different insects in his luggage. However, they were caught going through the security checkpoints when getting off a plane, so they had somehow go unnoticed through the controls of the airport of origin. All the passengers on that plane were traveling with 200 live tarantulas, and one alone would have been enough to cause chaos inside the cabin of the plane. The couple was arrested and fined with more than $500,000. Any person knows that it is not allowed to travel with weapons on planes. That is why the controls are so strict. This rule is often ignored, and people try to pass very dangerous things like bombs through the checkpoints. In fact, Numerous weapons are captured and destroyed at almost all airports in the world, and every year, most of the time, it is not even a smuggling attempt, but rather people believe they are capable of circumventing security, or also due to some carelessness. An unexploded grenade was recently found in the suitcase of a soldier at Dallas Airport in Texas. The entire area was immediately evacuated, and dozens of soldiers were delayed flights because of someone who wanted to travel with an explosive. If you have been surprised so far, you will not believe what follows, because in 2013, someone tried to pass the security controls with a human skull. The guards found fragments of the skull in the suitcase of two women who returned from abroad, and when they were arrested, explained that they had bought it from a vendor in Cuba. As a statue that warded off evil spirits, however, despite the fact that the story seemed real, the bones were confiscated to use as evidence in a murder investigation. Since it was a real skull, a similar incident happened to a Haitian woman in 2006 after being caught with a skull at the airport. The woman was sentenced to 15 years in prison. At the Cairo airport in 2012, it was found a frozen cow brain. Something very striking since the brain weighed more than 10 kilos. The smugglers said that they bought and froze it because it was cheaper overseas. The officers were confused as it was the only logical explanation they found. This, however, violates smuggling laws, so both people were arrested and later fined $200,000 each for it. Before bringing food from abroad, check carefully what things are allowed in airports. Snakes are common animals throughout Australia, however, it is not usual to find them inside a suitcase. These animals were wrapped in socks separately, probably so that they do not attack each other. It occurs in Sydney in 2011, and this man was discovered when passing through an X-ray device. In total, he had 5 snakes, all of different species from each other. It is believed that the smuggler intended to sell them abroad since they were indigenous to Australia, and this contraband could be worth a lot of money. Luckily, the man was caught, and the reptiles were sent with experts to take care of reinserting them into nature. Subscribe to our channel and be sure to watch our incredible chapters on alerts and curiosities at airports.